See if the cameras work. Hello and welcome to RPG Research. I'm your host, Hawk Robinson, and also joining us for today's meeting we have
John Wilker, Vice President, GM1.
Riley, I am a player archetype specialist.
Danielle, I am the treasurer and a GM1 trainee.
Shadeen, volunteer, GM trainee, and anything else I can get my hand on.
Woohoo! And joining us remotely through Jitsi,
Anna, GM trainee.
welcome, welcome everybody. So first we'll start with our administrative meeting, and then today, for today's applied gaming, we were hoping to do campaign cartographer, but between the nonprofit workshops, I just didn't have time to get that set up and going and refreshed and all that. And not enough people were saying that they were going to be here for the LARP. This actually is not quite enough. You need at least 7 people. I've done it with less, but it doesn't work as well for the LARP that I have in mind. We want 10 people for the LARP.
I was going to say, we developed the first one and only had, there was 8 of us? 7?
Were you there for the LARP that I did?
Yeah, the one at
No. I don't think you were at the LARP I'm talking about.
Oh, no, the one here?
This is a bridge for tabletop role-playing gamers to be introduced to LARP.
Nope.
It's a failed D&D adventure and dealing with all the consequences of that. And it's
So
humorous and therapeutic in a way. It's kind of mocking of it, but it's entertaining. So anyway, I ran it as a meetup some time ago, and I've run it a couple times since. And I like it. It's a good intro for people who've come from the gaming world, tabletop gaming world, to kind of introduce them to the differences with LARP and such. And it's pretty quick and easy, and it takes a few hours to play through, but it's pretty straightforward. It's not too complicated. So that's what I want to introduce everybody with, but we need at least 7 people to show up for it to really get enough weight to it, and 10 is preferred.
So are we going to put it on?
I'll try again.
Meetup?
I'll no, because I want it to be our staff this time. That gets the training. If too many people show up, then that's going to be a problem. And I don't want, like, a couple of strangers showed up to my house that I was not super psyched about them knowing about my house. So we'll see. And if the weather gets nicer, we'll do it at a park or something. Then we can have as many people as we want. But anyway, so it's an applied day. I was going to do theory, and I went, oh wait, it's not a theory day. It's an applied day. So one of the things I've had on the list is, because only John and Danielle, maybe Dan or Charles?
Nope.
So only John and Danielle have had any exposure yet to how I've used Neverwinter Nights from a therapeutic and educational perspective. So we will be introducing everybody. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it will be an introduction to Neverwinter Nights. It's a very old game from 2002. But it's a great game, and it still has support through the community, still very usable, and it's highly customizable, so you can use it to create custom modules for your clients, students, what have you, without having to learn coding. And there are scripting options. You don't have to learn any of that to do a lot with it. And you can host it yourself for free, and the community has added tons of extra features, tons of extra modules. You can do so much with it. There's nothing quite like it. And so you'll get an introduction to that. So we're trying to get all the laptops working. I don't know if the LAN's going to talk to each other. We might have to all play in parallel, but we'll be doing that after the administrative meeting. But first, we're doing the administrative meeting. So today is March 11th, 2019. And Brooke will not be joining us today. She had a family commitment. So she won't be with us today. She didn't have anything in particular that she wanted me to cover. It was talking about installing Neverwinter Nights on that laptop there. If you want to install Neverwinter Nights on your computer, you can go to GOG.com and grab it really cheap. It's like $5 or $10 or something for the Diamond version. You can also get Neverwinter Nights 2, but the Neverwinter Nights 1 Diamond Edition is the one we're using tonight. So, Anna, if you want to spend that, that's up to you. You'll be able to play along if you want.
I don't buy games for my computer.
Understood. But we will share. I will screen share one of these computers so you can follow along with what we're doing when we get to that stage. So administrative stuff. Shane and I Saturday were at a nonprofits workshop through the Washington State Nonprofits Organization. It was helpful. We went over a lot of stuff. Oh, my folder's in the other room. We're going to have a meeting at some point we're not going to go over all that today. Well, any highlights you want? Yeah, and I've got my notes too. But we need to set a meeting to go through everything that we covered in that because there's a lot of. There weren't any great revelations for me because fortunately on our checklist we're pretty good.
Yeah, I think the workshop was more designed to people who were either going to start one or just getting started.
But there were people there who've been running their nonprofits for 15 to 35 years with millions of dollars per year, and we had a more complete checklist, which was shocking. Like, how have they operated that long? Like, some of them like, yeah, we haven't filed our 990 in 2 years and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you've only got 1 more year, dude, or you don't have a 501c3.
Well, I think it's like we determined at the workshop, we're doing good, except we need to ramp up
the triangle,
funding.
Yeah. So triangle was infrastructure, compliance, all of that, volunteers, and pay, basically.
Is it on?
Yes.
So it's the triangle we're talking about.
Yeah. And we're really strong in infrastructure and volunteers and staffing and compliance and paperwork, but our money is dish. Right? Everybody there was tens of thousands or millions of dollars a year were their budgets. Now, there were a few, not everybody, most there. There were a few who were just starting or putting together, and so that made sense. But, so 2 years ago, we brought in, $900?
Yeah.
And then last year, around $3,100 or so, $3,200. Now, that's great. That's about a threefold increase from year to year. So it's nothing to poo-poo. But compared to the millions and millions of dollars, we're small potatoes. But it was good. We got to network. A few people said that they might want to do some summer programs with us.
Is that missing a letter?
Yes, it is. And that one is a number 1.
I was also impressed that everybody we talked to, even if they maybe weren't as enthusiastic about role-playing games, I think they really thought it was cool the way we're trying to use stuff.
Yes.
And if nothing else, it was a good PR thing.
Right. It was networking. It was definitely good networking. Same thing with today's lunch. A number of the same people were there, but there were other people there. It was a smaller group, only about a dozen or so. And John was there for that. And so the thing I wanted the most was help with our fundraising and our putting together our marketing and all that. And none of their workshops really go into that. And it was at the tail end, and it was the smallest and least coverage. And that's what I was afraid would happen. Again, there was plenty of benefit to it. Mm-hmm. It definitely will improve. I've got a nice checklist of where we can improve some areas that were a little weak. Excellent. But what I really wanted was help with our marketing fundraising plan, and they really couldn't help much of that. And then even with today, pretty much the same thing. They're like, yeah, that's really a challenge. So I went up and talked to him after.
Yeah.
I said, do you have a workshop specifically to help a nonprofit put together a campaign and do fundraising, like just for that, just one of your day-long workshops? That's what we need. He's like, well, I'll find some resources for you and stuff. So, but they don't. For whatever reason, that's the one that everybody, although they don't need it, they're doing great on fundraising, right? I mean, everybody always wants more, but if they're raising that kind of money, they're doing okay. I just don't know. And again, I come from a for-profit world, and it's completely different. I know how to drum up business for an exchange for goods and services thing and make a great profit. I've done that many times successfully. This nonprofit thing just eludes me. And
my other nonprofit, is funded within by our own people.
Well, that's the thing is we've avoided the members approach because of the accounting.
We don't have members approach. You just pay for events, so it's funded.
Okay. Well, okay, but if you're paying for events, but who's handling all your accounting?
We have a treasurer.
Okay.
Actually, we have 2 right now because one is, one of those people that volunteered and hasn't showed up.
They have a crow that can count. One missing yet?
But we've also had our 501c3 status since like 1972.
Wow. Yeah. So you've been around a while. Mm-hmm. Been around a while.
You should start raising money for us.
I don't do any of the money raising there.
Yeah, so now they've got newer versions of Neverwinter Night. Anyway, I'll get into that later. They've got enhanced.
Neverwinter Night 2 and then what was the other one?
So anyway, good meeting, good networking. It's a start. Now more people know about us that didn't know about us. A number had commented they'd seen the bus around town. And so hopefully that will, these things take time, and hopefully that will start germinating some benefits. Some people did say at the workshop that they wanted us for some summer programs.
Right.
So, and they, like one of them, they actually give money to organizations to help them run programs. So
Passing it down.
hopefully that'll happen.
It's some time over here.
Apparently, you look
Except
like
I'm
you
doing all the talking, but
It's fine.
Yeah.
After my-
Well, I can talk for a minute.
okay, go ahead.
So my birthday was yesterday.
Yeah, how was that?
Happy birthday!
Or not yesterday, day before yesterday. Yeah. It was pretty good. But, so we did raise some money because I did a Facebook fundraiser. We got $38 and one of my lifelong friends gave 25 of that. And, she really appreciates the dedication that everyone here has to bettering our community, and she wanted me to share that.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, and today I finally made it to City Glass and got them to exchange the check that I hadn't. Remember, I got that check clear back in September from them, that donation.
Did you put it in the bank immediately?
I put it immediately in the bank. It is now in our bank account under donations.
And it was spent yesterday.
She was a bit upset because it screwed up her booking, her accounting between last year and this year. And I am very sorry about that. But, yeah. But that's finally in there. So
Okay.
many thanks to City Glass for their very generous $100 donation. That was very kind of them.
Very much appreciated. I wonder if,
Unsolicited, too. That was just very kind of them. I went there to get the rear window of the bus replaced and then also get that bar added. And they gave us a $100 donation, which pretty much after I paid them, made it like $12 I paid for $112 service. So that was very, I mean, I paid for it and then the donation went to the organization, but still.
Yeah.
But that was still very nice of them. Very much appreciated.
I wonder if right now business to business fundraising isn't what we should also be focusing on.
Well, I don't know about focusing, but certainly we include.
Yeah.
We certainly.
Well, I mean, not like a big focus, but I'm talking like one of us going to different.
Any of you is welcome to focus on any fundraising effort you see fit.
Okay.
Knock yourself out.
Well, if I were to find one of these places,
Mm-hmm.
we need first off to be able to pay to be in it.
What do you mean?
There's business to business. There's like 8 business to business meetings where you get into their little portfolio. That's what I used to do.
Oh,
And then
yeah, we don't have the budget to start paying into a whole bunch of those.
well, there's like the women's one, which is $25,
Yeah.
and then I know there's another one that's cheap that's in downtown.
That's definitely something that would be a board meeting discussion.
Okay.
If we have to pay into it like that,
Mhm.
because there's a whole bunch of those that could suck our money dry
Yeah.
very quickly for no return. So we would definitely want to have a meeting
Yeah.
about which ones to apply for that.
Yeah. I can do some research on which ones
Please
are
do.
in town.
Yep.
The female one is not worth going to, and it would be either me or Brooke that could go.
Okay.
And then if one or both of us is sick or are doing something for the nonprofit, then we couldn't send anyone. Or I guess Anna could go, but I don't know how you would feel about going and talking with women about about this business, and then yeah, it's a big ask. I'm basically putting it that way.
If I had some direction and someone else to go with me, then I'd be willing to go as long as schedules work out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
and she's a little early in the training process here, so
exactly.
that would definitely be.
But in order to do something of that nature, we'd need more than one person that's trained up to be able to at least do advocacy
Right.
level
That's
1.
one of the biggest reasons that I'm kind of holding off on some of the ideas I have, because I want to make sure I'm not talking out of the wrong side of my face, or just
Or at least if you are, that you
Representing-
gave using the correct information.
Well, yeah, but I also want to make sure that I make sure I bring my smart, calm, not
Yeah.
very emotional, business-like face, and not my normal Shane's really wound up and passionate and might step on toes face.
Mhm.
How would you step on toes with your face? That would be bad. Anyway.
But yeah, if other people are also willing to support, that would be an option. it's something I'm wondering about because we have a lot of our support has came from people who are higher up in other businesses locally.
Yeah.
So that's
Sure.
that's just something that
Okay.
I'm noticing.
And anything that you can do without being a cost, go
Yes.
for it. It's just
And some of
Yeah, we
these
gotta be
clubs,
careful.
even if they aren't pay or if they're only like $5, if you miss twice and don't send a representative, then you're kicked out for the rest of the year.
lovely. And
So
we have trouble keeping that kind of consistent staffing.
exactly, that's the other. That's why I need a team essentially
Yeah.
of communicating staff members.
Yeah. Okay. Well, feel free to take the lead on that.
Okay.
No.
Go for that. You make it larger.
As you steal the mouse.
God,
Danielle's been driving me nuts over there because she's only half a person.
you mean
I'm half a
Anna?
person.
No,
Am I not there?
Danielle.
Oh, for that.
There?
Oh, okay.
There she is.
No.
Anna's got a hole.
Well, you know what? The camera's been knocked by that cable. Just the camera on the TV.
Oh,
that's
that's
why
fine.
it's scattywampus. Just need to adjust it.
No,
That
not one
cable's
either.
pumped
Come
in.
on.
So anyway, so that's going on. Did that? John, did you have anything administratively you wanted to cover?
No, I gave you the new book that came out.
You gave it.
I gave you
saw
the information about it.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to follow up. Where was that you saw that?
I've seen it on Facebook, Twitter.
I mean, so it's a new book.
It's a new book and it's a
From-
PDF.
So that's a Grimtooth's Worst Traps, Deadliest Traps.
Oh, that book. No,
No,
that
what are
one's
you
at
talking about?
that one's at Merlin's.
Oh, you're talking about
Bodana Group.
Madonna Group. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. I retweeted it too. It looks kind of cool. And I like the fact that, hey, there's another people out there doing RPG therapy. That's cool.
Yeah.
We got peers. We got peeps.
We got lots of peers.
Well, so
Well,
here's the evolution of that is RPG Research Project 2004, Game to Grow, Madonna Group, etc. around 2013-15 time period started reaching out to me asking for what programs, and then use that to develop their programs. And then now they've got their programs going, which is exactly what was hoped, is that this would grow and proliferate
Oh, yeah.
and such. So we were the seed that is now, it's starting to germinate elsewhere, which is great.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, more
so-
voices speaking up. It's,
Exactly. Yep. Well, it shows there's an industry,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
is what we hoped for. Riley, do you have anything administrative you'd like to cover?
Nope.
Okay. Danielle, anything else?
I'm trying to think. Is there anything else administrative?
Okay, so this Friday,
Yes, this Friday.
we're at Deer Park Library.
Yep.
Have you posted the info for that in Discord or anything, just to remind people that we're going to be there?
Nope, but I'll do it
Okay.
today.
And did you book the other libraries for the other months yet?
We have Argonne for next month. In
Okay.
April, I have to wait till Friday.
Before you can do it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friday, oh, no, I'm out of town. If I was there Friday, I would also
So do
surrender
it
my.
at Deer Park. While we're there, we can just
Okay.
go in and say, hey, let's
Okay.
book. Or we're doing Argonne next.
Okay. So we will be at Deer
Was
Park
that
and then
or Arrowhead
Argonne,
Heights?
Spokane. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Excellent.
or Heights. I could walk.
No freebies for you.
Oh.
That's a problem.
I will not be there Friday. Who is GMing on the bus and trailer on Friday? Guessing you.
You mean
Or-
no, this Friday is at Deer Park.
Oh, Deer Park. Oh, sorry.
Be at the library.
Yeah,
Library.
it's the first of the month that we do the bus and trailer. First
So-
Friday of the month.
Yeah, I'm going to be there to, help however I can.
Okay. But you're not going to be there this
No.
Friday, so we're going to be. So you will be there to help GM.
I will
Okay, good. So
definitely
at least
be
we'll have 2 GMs. And again, because it's a new location, it could be completely dead. So you might be practicing with each other, running a game through or something like that. We'll practice setting up. We'll do what we can. Hopefully, people will walk in and try things out. That's what's happened at the other libraries. But I don't expect Deer Park to be super busy.
Have you reached out to Charles since we're going to be right up there? Anyone?
He's not in Deer Park.
I thought
He's
he
in
was.
Hilliard. No, he moved to Hilliard a long time ago. Yeah, that was a long time. He lives closer to John than anybody. So,
I actually saw him at a grocery store once.
yeah. Yeah, and then after that, we'll be back at Spark Central.
Okay.
So,
I will be there.
Okay. Else is there? I'm forgetting. Okay, so this Thursday, John, you'll be running. It'll be theory.
Yeah.
This Thursday's theory.
Because I gamed.
Right. Did we have something scheduled for it specifically that I was supposed to train?
Yeah, 2.
What?
You're number 2 on the.
Oh, Chapter 2 from RPG 99.
Okay.
So,
Which is the spot that you.
So I got to get that together for him.
Yeah. Well, isn't that where we go into
Oh my goodness.
TR theory?
Mm-mm. That's
A
not
little?
till- no,
We don't get any TR theory in 99.
no, not 99.
Okay.
99 is this is what dice look like.
It's more than that.
You know.
All right, so it'll be Chapter 2
NPC
from RPG
equals
99. I think it's
character.
isn't it go deeper? Well, did you already do 1 and 2? There was history and controversies.
I did history and controversies.
Okay, what was the next one? Was it? It's not research. Let's see. So let's go to courses. Oh no, it's not going to work on this laptop. Anyway, all right. So Chapter 2, you and I need to coordinate so I can hurry and get you
And-
files and try to get that set up better for you this time.
Saturday, I will be
Oh, my goodness,
remote.
I can't keep up. Yes, what?
Saturday, I will be remote.
You'll be remote for the GM's workshop?
Yes.
Okay.
And it is. What are we doing for GM's workshop?
Him.
Aha.
Okay,
Are you?
You haven't done a baseline yet, right?
sure, let's do it.
All right, let's get your baseline. What will you be running? What's you're most strong and comfortable with, both system and adventure? Because we want to see your best game.
Which means it doesn't have to be done in German.
You can do whatever you want, whatever you know best.
You know, honestly, I think I want to do Once in Waterdeep.
Okay. You know
Partly
that
because
really
it's
well.
I have read through it a bunch of times, and I've actually, because it can go so many ways, I've basically made notes to kind of railroad it for
What
myself.
have you actually run previously of your before you met us
Oh,
that you're really comfortable with?
I've run that in Lost Mines of Fandelver. I mean, honestly, most of the stuff I did is completely homebrew that I
That's
make up
fine.
on. But most of that is I make up on the fly, and I would rather. I need to practice running things that other people have written, so
Well, level 2 GM, we started having you do more of the on the fly stuff. So we're only doing the written stuff to help beginners.
People like me that
The
had,
more experienced GMs, we're happy to have you
I
be
had
more
run
flexible.
3 or 4
Dan
games.
did his own thing, right?
Yeah, Dan did completely
Dan
his
did a
own
homebrew.
thing. Charles did his homebrew Star Wars thing.
I tell you
Friends
what,
interview.
I will think on it, and I will let you know what I'm going to pull out of my hat on Thursday.
Because what we want to see is your strongest GMing.
Sure.
And
Sure.
not stuck because it's in print and you don't have it memorized what it is. So if you have a setting that you like to run that you kind of improvise, but you run many times, so you have it down. That's what we want to see. Is we want to see your baseline strong GMing.
And the only thing that we ask is that you bring pre-gen.
Oh yeah,
Yes. So because we're not going to do that, we're going to jump straight in, and you have a limited
yeah.
window.
Session zeros
That's-
for other stuff.
Yeah, you have about 2.5 hours of playtime, and then the rest is discussion, etc. So,
Absolutely.
Have you watched Anna yet?
what's that? What?
Have you watched Anna? We recorded Anna's.
Oh, was that
baseline
this Saturday?
Yeah, last Saturday.
I have not. No, I need to do that. Sorry, Anna.
Are you sleeping again? No.
Actually, yeah, a little bit. I'm actually getting a little bit of sleep, and I'm falling behind each day on everything else. So I'll try to get that caught up, Anna, so I can give you feedback on that. My apologies for being so frantic. It's going to be this way for a while yet. Yes,
No, that's something for other things. It's not this.
Shane, administrative stuff.
We already talked about the workshop.
Right.
Just like to reiterate. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the host of that because not just for us, but a lot of groups in Spokane that I thought were really worthwhile. We all got some good information, and I really like the fact that it wasn't just a here's what you do lecture kind of thing. The fact that we were able to interact and let people know what we were about, I think, is really helpful to what we're trying to push. And other than that, just like I say, once I'm feeling confident with our message, I'm going to start pushing on fundraising. I just don't want to say the wrong thing. So
Right.
that's really the only thing holding me back.
Okay. Anna, do you have any administrative you'd like to cover?
No.
Okay. At some point here, we want to, you can see it a little bit in the picture, the little sashes up there, the rainbow of sashes up there, actually show up in the camera. Because the green is invisible, yep. So, and what are we talking about? We're going to, for a game, for St. Patrick's Day, we're all going to wear green and like just be disembodied heads.
Talking heads.
Yeah.
Is that Wednesday?
And the green
Sunday.
should be
Sunday, Heroes in the
a
Mist.
house on fire. So it'd be burning down the house.
Yeah, back screens. So, yeah. I think you guys have heard this. I don't know if you've heard about this. So back when I was working in tech and I was doing the SiliconValley.com thing, there was a company that had announced and shown fabric LCD technology. So it was flexible, wearable LCD technology that you could make clothing out of. Mm-hmm. Not just the little panels. I mean, that you could wear as clothing and have full video. And I was like, oh, I want that. And a French fashion company bought the rights to it. And this was around 2000, 2001, 2002, somewhere around there. And I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But anyway, I just was like, I can't wait. I want to buy an entire outfit, head to toe, bodysuit, you know, where I just can barely see through here, right? Completely wear that. And then, like, playback video of a fireplace and run through the park screaming. You know, that's like that. You know, bad on fire or whatever. Or record a video of walking through the park and then be in the right position and play it back while I'm walking and I'll be invisible. Which then, a few years ago, Mercedes ran a video to see their commercial with LEDs. They did a whole side of the car of this car with giant LED panels with a camera playing through that made so while they drove, the car was invisible except for like the wheels because it did a pass-through video. I was like, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do.
You know what else would be cool is to do a video of a walking skeleton.
Sure. Yeah, there's so many possibilities. I mean, think about how you can take LARP to a whole other level where you just load up the video of your character persona. You're now wearing your character persona in full LED. You don't need VR.
Cosplay every week.
You don't need VR. You can see the actual world and everything, but you're wearing this full three-dimensional rendering, however it would work. That'd be awesome.
Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah, and just that's all I would wear because I could. Oh, I gotta go to work. I gotta switch to my business suit. You can change your face, whatever you want. It'd be freaky, but it'd be
that could
awesome.
go so wrong if you accidentally hit the button in the middle.
Yeah, naked or something. Yeah.
You're wearing a stormtrooper outfit.
Right.
No.
Yeah, but the possibilities. And I'm like, where is it? Where is it? There were so many technologies that came out during the boom that happened. They worked. They were there. I saw them working. And then since the 2004 MGM versus Grokster case, where there's too much liability by any technology use that you can be sued for its misuse, they've just been sitting. They're just nothing. Anyway, that brought all of that up. So if you hadn't heard that before, I had to share that with you. These guys have heard it a million times.
Well, all these tech companies would just come to gamers and say, hey, would you use this?
No, the problem is
Everybody
the
would make more money.
liability.
It's the legal liability. So Grokster was a peer-to-peer file sharing network, just like Napster and such. And Supreme Court ruled that the creator of a technology is liable for the misuse of the technology, even if the creator did not intend for it to be misused that way.
Oh
so
my
if
God.
I invent a better shovel, so it's better for digging, but it also turns out to be really good at like mass murder, I'm liable for not creating protections to prevent it from doing that. Now, that's an extreme example, but I try to use that to explain to people because when you talk the tech side of it, nobody understands. People's eyes glaze over. So I always have to put it in something tangible. But that is the equivalent of what that ruling says. It says if you create a technology and you don't create sufficient protections to prevent it from being abused and misused to commit crimes, the creator of the technology is liable for the crime, not just the person who committed the crime using the technology.
How is that not grossly unconstitutional?
Tell me that. Because it's all part of WIPO. They're just reinforcing WIPO.
You might as well go after the family of.
But this is why technology innovation has screeched to a halt since 2004. Yeah, but So there's a lot of these technologies that we've been waiting for 20 years aren't because of the lawyers. Anyway, so this is where legal stuff really gets in the way of trying to do great stuff.
Neverwinter Nights is loading to a black screen. I'm
Like forever? Because there's a little bit of that temporarily.
There you go.
No, it went through
So
the
you
loading
load
sentence
multiplayer
sequence and then
Okay.
it went black.
All right.
Instead of
You might
giving
have to
me
fiddle
the
with your
options.
settings. There's a settings. You can tell it to reconfigure your settings. All right.
I'm just gonna I close it down and reload it.
Okay. So Thursday, theory, Chapter
Friday.
2 RPG 99. Friday will be at the Deer Park Library. Saturday workshop. You'll be running your game.
Do you
It'll
want
be
remote
here.
players or do you not?
It's definitely better if people can be here in person. Will you be able to make it for that one
I
and
won't.
be a Paz?
I mean, whoever
Well,
is
I'm not
comfortable,
looking at
I'll
past
have to like.
Oh, that's right.
prepare your
Baseline, you
sheet so
don't.
can
That's right.
Take notes real quick, but
Actually, we did that to Charles.
We did Charles.
We did it because he was doing so well. So if he's doing really well, we might
him
have
knock
you do
this
past
out.
stuff.
Yeah,
Well, we also were going to release him in the wild really soon. So
Yeah, we needed him quickly. Yeah. Well, same thing with Shane. We're hoping he can. And he's
And we
already,
can do the
he's
same
already-
thing with you stopping at my house and I bring you the rest of the way.
As far as helping carpool.
Yeah.
Cool. Talking to Anna.
Yes, if she heard me.
I only heard the second half of your sentence.
If you need a ride to Hawk's house for any of these events that I'm going to, you can always pick you up at my house.
Sounds cool.
So,
So I'll show up if you don't have enough players, then I'll play. If not, I'll just
okay.
swing out.
okay.
I'm gonna be with family,
As long
so
as we get 3 or 4 players, then it's sufficient.
Uh-huh.
We got 6 or 7. That's too many, really.
yeah, remote players get bumped first.
Let's see what else. Hopefully, we've got another snowstorm tonight. Apparently,
Yeah.
everybody.
1 a.m.
So,
2 is 12
Thunderstorm
inches
warning.
depending on who you ask.
yeah. Well, because they don't know.
Don't ask the groundhog.
Roll the dice.
Yeah, he's
Oh
wrong.
no, climate science is very exact. What are you talking about?
Tuesday, tomorrow is researchers meeting, 9 a.m. to noon. Omar has canceled that because he's got a prior commitment, so I don't know if I'll be running the meeting because I don't know if I haven't heard from Brandon's been tied up with another group. I'm trying to get him to show up for the Sunday meeting instead. And there's a few others I need to follow up on, so I'll probably use that time to follow up with some of our volunteers who've been kind of quiet.
Oh
Call them up and stuff, Brianne and Solomon and Ryan G and the others. So there have been quite a few that have been quiet lately. I'm just going to start calling and go, hey, what's going on here?
August time.
Well, his schedule has been really funky lately,
Yep.
and he is in the process of looking for a new job because of that issue. So, as soon as
I will also be working on job descriptions to post to different universities. So
For
that over the
volunteer?
summer, for volunteers and internships. They don't have to be TR internships, they can be recreation internships. Unpaid, which is trickier.
And we're going to do that volunteer symposium or volunteer workshop thing where people actually come in to become volunteers.
Right, there's a thing that they were talking about a thing in April, I think they
Yeah.
said, and I'm going to see if I can make it to that. I wrote that down, hoping I can do that.
So things that I'm pretty sure that
April.
Rook would bring up is that a lot of volunteers are grunt labor.
Yeah, so
Um,
that one is for a specific project. So, for example, maybe a really good scrub down of the bus and the trailer,
Yeah.
cleaning out and scrub down and prep for the season. Because I've been using it anyway, but it needs a good scrub down since the road trip and everything.
And then
We're going to be using it a lot more as the weather gets better. We'll be setting up at parks and doing more drum circles and stuff and our weekend stuff. So,
another one I would like to suggest too is buffer building.
yeah, we need
When we get
supplies for
there.
that. We need money. We'd have to spend money on that. So
Yep.
I'm being really conservative with our money.
Yes, and I totally understand and agree with that.
Yeah, until our donations grow.
I'm just saying that these
don't
are
have free
these are the
cardboard
ideas I had. Is also and the cardboard shield.
Yeah, and we don't have the bandsaw that Ryan had. That was so awesome. That made those wonderful shields. So, but I would love to make more of those shields with the removable plates.
Oh, that's something that I wanted to bring up that I was thinking about at the meeting. That we focus a lot on fundraising, but donations don't always have to be actual money.
Right. Well, yeah, we've got a number of
Yeah.
physical donations. MDA gave us a ton to make boffer shields and weapons and stuff like that. That was thanks to the MDA just giving us stuff with the pool noodles and stuff like that. Yeah, no, we gladly accept items.
Well, I was just, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up that, you know.
We have to be careful because if we get above a certain price point, then it's got to be it's a nightmare. It's an accounting nightmare that we're not set up to handle yet.
Please don't do it to me and Hawk.
But no, I was just thinking because, you know, we all know different people in the community, different industries.
Well, and the other problem is right now we're still operating mostly out of my house. I mean, we've got the office downtown, but we can't store stuff there. So, and I'm already busting the seams of crap that I need to clean out and get rid of. So I've been kind of holding off, you know, again, money so we can get into a warehouse. So here's the thing. I've got a list of why we need money and what we have to take care of. We don't have any liability insurance in place. We need to get that. Ooh. But it's more than $1,000 a year to have it. So it's outside of our budget currently. We can't afford it right now. We can't afford not to have it, but we can't afford to have it. As soon as we get more money in the coffers, we can buy liability insurance, but it is over $1,000 a year for that. And that's without minors being in our programs.
Although you do have to say that most high schools have liability for volunteer hours.
I understand, but maybe wants to sue us.
Yes.
So if somebody trips and falls in one of our programs, we have nothing right now to protect the company from that. But we can't. It's a chicken and egg thing. Once we get to a certain threshold, so if we do no programs for minors, we only do 18 years and older, it's about $1,300 to $1,500 a year for the liability insurance. If we add minors, it jumps up to around $2,500 to $3,000 a year. So that's something we have to budget for when we have the money to budget for it. We don't have it yet, so we're and we try to be very careful that way.
Well, in certain places, we're running programs through.
Yeah, through others like the MDA stuff. That's why part of why we do that. It's like, well, we would love to do it ourselves, but we don't have the resources, so we got to do it through an organization. But we can still be individually sued if they wanted to. Even the MDA wanted somebody had gotten hurt. The MDA would try to protect us, but they could still have gone after our organization separately if they wanted to. And that's what the insurance is there to help protect you from that. And that's for around $1 to $6 million in coverage, depending on the policy. So that's what we're looking at is a minimum of about $1,500 a year, upwards of $3,000 a year for liability coverage. That's just part of what we need. You know, if people ask, well, what do you need money for? Well, we need it for the books and the kits and the gas and all that, but also just to operate. Here's the things that we're not even covering yet. I've been doing the best I can. Like if something happens here, I have my homeowner's insurance to cover that to a limited extent. But at least it's something. So that's one of the big ones. A CPA, right? Just having a CPA that checks the books once a month, once a week, whatever. We don't have that currently. She's technically the treasurer, but I'm the one with the accounting background. So,
I just gather all the information and show up and go. We need to fill this stuff out.
and we have the infrastructure, but we don't have a CPA on yet. We need a CPA. I got to find out exactly how much that would run per month to have one. I'll probably talk to Lapido down at KYRS and stuff because he had one that was really affordable. But it's hundreds of dollars a month. We bring in $127 a month between Patreon and then a little bit extra from Facebook and what have you. But that doesn't give us, you know, if I start paying a CPA right now, we won't have any money. Let's see, insurance, CPA, I have a list. Let's see what's on here.
Building.
Oh, yeah, the warehouse. Getting out of my garage here is a minimum $600, $800 a month without utilities for a warehouse with a small office space with a door big enough. And that's about the 1,500 to 2,000 square foot range, which isn't very much. Like we would barely squeeze in the bus and the trailer and have a little tiny office space. But that would be something. If we can get around 1,000 a month to have a place, then we've got a little bit, we'd be around 2,500 square feet. We'd have a little bit of breathing space. We could do activities there. We'd have a big enough office. We could store everything there. We would have a good operating place. It would be in an industrial area. It would be an industrial park. But about $1,000 a month, we can get a reasonable warehouse facility, and you know we'd have to deal with utilities and stuff like that. So if you want just a round number, $1,000 a month would give us a place to move out of my house and finally have a place to call our own. We don't have that currently. That's a big one. And so you start adding these up, and we need some thousands of dollars a year just to really get to that. We have run on a wonderful shoestring budget. We have done so much with so little. We have helped hundreds and hundreds of people every year because of volunteerism, and each of us just contributing our own stuff. We've been able to help hundreds of people a year through these programs, but we could be helping thousands if we could get to that next level where we're a self-sufficient entity and not dependent on all of us to that degree. We still have to do all the volunteering, but we're contributing a lot of our own money and items and such, wear and tear, etc.
I have a question.
Yes.
Where you're wearing two hats at once.
Okay.
Is there?
Only
I
two.
know. I know that we're trying to separate research and therapeutics.
Yes, we are. They are separate.
No,
we're not trying. They are.
I mean, really, like concretely in
Yes.
everybody's eyes.
Yes.
I'm wondering if there isn't a way that we can find a space with two offices, and then. Because I know they exist because I've been at a business.
Of course, yeah. There's
two.
warehouses with partitions, and there's lots of options.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if
they're out there.
And then wouldn't it be cheaper if we were to?
Well, when the LLC starts once again bringing in more money again.
Yes, that's what also.
Because it hasn't brought in money, since I stopped doing that.
They could...
Well, then the LLC can donate space to the nonprofit, but we need an accountant in place to handle that pass through, or it gets messy.
Yeah.
Yes, this has totally been something I've had in mind where that could happen to the LLC. If RPG Research doesn't make enough in donations, 20% of LLC's, the RPG Therapeutics LLC's profits are donated to RPG Research. So no matter what, RPG Research, whether it's my funding or the LLC's funding and whatever, the patrons, we will keep operating at some minimal level. It will go on indefinitely from multiple sources. But we want to try to grow it to that next level. And again, we have this infrastructure, volunteers, we have this capacity to do some incredible stuff, but we have this tiny little budget that's hamstringing us. That's the part.
Yeah.
This could use a little more polish, but this isn't where we need to put any more energy. Like, I'm not doing a whole bunch of recruiting right now. Infrastructure is in place, but we don't have the people to use it. And the money for those people. Where we need to now flesh out and even out that triangle, because it's all distorted, is fundraising. We've got to get more donations coming in and even out that triangle. And then we'll be operating at our capacity, and then we'll have to once again grow that area. But it is a huge bottleneck, just $3,000 compared to with 55 volunteers and everything that we're doing an awful lot. So we're doing at least one community program a week, soon two, and sometimes more because we do other special projects. We do 6 or so broadcasts a week. We've got multiple book projects, multiple research projects. We have all these training programs. We're doing a ton for $3,000 a year. Now that isn't all of the costs because I'm covering the hosting and I'm doing all this tech work for free. That would be $120 an hour, and all these things that if we turned that into real costs, it would be many tens of thousands of dollars. But I've been able to make that happen, and it's been a big advantage, right? Looking at those other nonprofits, my technology background has given us a huge leg up over these other organizations because of that. But we need to get it to where it becomes its own entity. Vehicle maintenance, gas for the vehicles, the regular supplies, the books, papers, pencils, dice, the Post-its are bloody expensive. I've got to print out. We're completely out of brochures. We're okay on cards, but we're completely out of brochures. I've got to do a print run. Now, we have money for that, and I'll be doing a print run on that soon. We have no swag because I've been too nervous about the accounting of that. Now, if we just give it away, that's not a big deal. But if we want to sell swag as a fundraiser, which is what a lot of nonprofits do, pins, hats, shirts, cups, what have you, there's all sorts of sites set up to do that, but you have to really account, and then you incur all of the sales tax type stuff. It's a whole level of accounting that you have to do, even as a nonprofit.
That was the thing that they were saying in the meeting today, was that there is a proposal to keep nonprofit sales tax-free.
So what they're talking, okay, well, what they're talking about stuff that was there's that. They're talking about stuff that's donated. So what happens is you have to pay depreciation value on assets. They're trying to keep it. So initially, a nonprofit you don't have to pay on that initially as a nonprofit, but then there's a window where that closes and you do. And now you've got to pay pay taxes on all your assets that you have, and they're trying to get that to get rid of that sunset.
And that's basically after you go above that into that second tax bracket. I remember right?
You the 50K bracket? Not for that, no. All the sales and property taxes, that can be at any level. If you're making no money and you have assets, you have to pay property taxes on your assets. Office chairs, computers. We have very little actually in RPG Research's name. RPG Research has very few actual assets yet. We have our kits. A few donated items. And that's pretty much RPG Research's assets at this moment. So if we had to pay property taxes on those books, I would have to figure out the depreciated value of all of those gaming books. And it gets less each year, and then I have to pay property taxes on that. So this is a law they're trying to work on and trying to make that, because you get a certain window. Anyway.
What's the window?
2020, I think is when, So this is getting really complicated, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure
we have no advertising marketing budget. We're not doing any advertising or marketing out there. Now, again, social networking would help a lot if we had somebody dedicated to do that. That hasn't happened yet, but we also have no ads.
Well, I have been pushing,
nothing.
but my very meager amount of followers
of
at
course.
this juncture.
Events to do fundraisers that cost money up front. We do have a little bit of money for that, but we haven't. When we do need to talk at our next board meeting about
the grant for an April fund event.
Something. April's too close, I think. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Contracting or commissioning a grant writer, right? So having somebody take that on.
That's where the
contracting a site overhaul or something, or because again, I was hoping Solomon would step up, but he's been not. And then we've got, of course, our capital needs versus our operating needs. As I said, all those things are all money based. Now, one thing I can do without the money, but it's time, is I got to get those job descriptions for volunteers and unpaid interns to EWU, WSU, GU, UW, Whitworth, SFC, all of these colleges, and get these volunteer descriptions out for the other roles. These other roles, the web developers and the administrators, and try to get some of those people coming. And I've been focusing mostly on the GMs, the advocates, the player archetype specialists, and the facilitators. But at this point now, we need the administrative staff. Best way to do that is see if we can bring in the students for that. Because I've tried to do it on a general volunteer roll call, and people are not following through. But if it's through a school where it affects their grade, my experience with that in the past has been much better. And so, but you have to have very detailed job descriptions in advance. So that's what I've got highlighted to try to undertake that will help. Again, in lieu of money, that's something we can do to solve a lot of our administrative issues without money. Like, okay, if we're not bringing money, what's a workaround to still meet some of these needs? We also need to, at some point, schedule our retreat this year. We haven't talked about that. So we try to...
separate from Plocum, I'm assuming?
Yes, it's actual retreat, where we go up to a campground with the bus and trailer, and everybody shows up with their tents or whatever, and we do at least, a 24 hours, 2-day, 3-day thing of gaming, where everybody's running a game for about 3 to 4 hours. Everybody's taking turns. I mean, we sleep. We don't run nonstop 24/7. But yeah, but it's a full day, and we have a good time. It's a barbecue, and everybody gets to know each other. But we're running at least 3 games a day, if not 4. I think 4. Yeah, we try to run 4 games a day.
We do one after breakfast.
Yeah, and for at least a couple of days out. And last time we got in there before the season. They let us have the entire campground before the season opened up in May. And the weather was nice and everything.
3 and a LARP.
Question.
Yeah, yes.
This is mostly in theory, because I don't know if we have any other kids involved with this, but if we were to, when we do the retreat, are my parents allowed to come along?
So, of course.
One parent at least?
They don't have to come.
Yes.
As long as they sign a permission slip, they don't have to come, but they are welcomed. All volunteer. Like if you've got spouses who want to come or kids who want to come along, they'll need to participate or not be disruptive in some way, but they are definitely welcomed.
So they can spend all their time cooking.
Yeah, and they can help. They can help with the stuff. So it's generally potluck. Everybody bring what you can, and I cover the camping fees for a site. And if there's more people than the site will fit, then people need to take care of their own camping fees and such. But yeah, it's fun. It's a good time, and it's a good time for people to really connect. And it is work, right? It is a work retreat in that we're training. We're doing 3-hour game sessions, doing feedback. Everybody's taking turns doing their GMing or whatever their role is. But it's great practice. Really helped Danielle.
Yeah. I killed everyone, and then I didn't kill everyone.
Yeah.
It was progress.
So
I learned how to not flip my dice.
Oh no, I'm listening.
So last time I think we did it. I think May something like Memorial Weekend is the official season opening, right?
Yeah, we did it just before.
So we did it like the week before.
I think we did it 2 weeks before.
Yeah, 1 or 2 weeks before at Camp Ponderay, north of here. It's about 30 minutes north of here.
Well, the Frost Giants don't cooperate this year.
I know, it depends on the season. Totally. And that road is not plowed or anything, so.
And the back road into there is really...
it's gnarly. But if we can talk them into that again, because I think I paid like $40 for us to have basically the entire camp.
So funny when Drake...
What?
Drake.
Oh, he bought it out of his car and everything. That server's still running. I saw it drive by last week. Yeah, it's still running. Yep, still going strong. Anyway, do you guys want to try to see if I can do that again? Did that time of year work out for you guys?
Yeah.
It's a gamble with the weather. It could rain the whole time. It could snow. May is not unheard of to snow around here.
It doesn't interfere with my multiple clients.
It might be an issue for you because of school.
It's Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, we pick a weekend. We do it on a weekend. Yeah, we pick a Friday, Saturday, Sunday time slot. Mm-hmm. So people usually, you show up Friday after work or school and hang out, and then you leave Sunday afternoon, evening.
Yep.
Assuming I can get it. But usually...
Yeah, you just have to drive up and talk to the camp.
Yeah, I got to go there in person and say, hey, or get a hold of them, whatever. Because we're a nonprofit and charity and all that, they were like, yeah, cool, just pay the camp fee, no problem. And it was great. It was a piece of cake. It was cheap. It was easy. What's that?
My other nonprofit used it a few more times after that.
Yeah?
If you clean up the park, they cut it
Okay. Well, certainly, if we have enough people, that's certainly a doable thing, yeah.
That would be an absolutely awesome LARP. Yeah. Slay the trash goblins.
So, and we did. We were able to do drumming and everything else. So there's a lot of stuff because we had the whole park to ourselves. We could just do whatever we wanted. It was great. Yeah. All right. Well, help me with everything. I'm getting pulled in so many directions, but I would like to, starting tomorrow, help me remember here to start making phone calls and trying to get a hold of these folks, because the earlier we do it, the better our chances to see if I can get in there a week or 2 or 3 before Memorial Weekend.
I'm supposed to come over tomorrow.
Are you?
Remind you, yeah.
For
test prep and
for ATRA, I'm quizzing you on the ATRA, the CTRS questions.
Yes.
So write yourself a note to remind him. Remind him now.
Just to call me ahead of time. All right, I've got that on the Kindle. I've got all the questions on the Kindle.
I think is what we.
Yeah, it was after. On. Well, it might be earlier. So it sounds like I'm not going to have the researchers meeting.
Okay.
So if you want to do it around noon or so, it'd be okay.
Noon, okay.
Yeah, earlier than that.
And then the question I'm supposed to ask you.
I ask you to remind him to start prepping for
a retreat sometime in May to see if we can get into Camp Ponderay. That's just straight up Highway 2 from here, and we can carpool carpool no problem.
Prepping for retreat in May.
For my applied gaming on the 21st, which would be Thursday.
Yeah.
I was thinking of doing SABM and then playing House of Danger.
Great. Sounds great. Go for it.
Prepping for retreat in May.
I was going to offer up, not that I have a ton of experience, but I have done grant writing.
Okay.
I would probably...
the one stipulation I do that hamstrings us a bit We don't do any taxpayer-funded grants.
Right. No, and
Okay.
and I absolutely agree with that.
Okay.
Just because it takes so much, you just don't have as much to answer for. Because if you're not taking taxpayer money, it's all people who are willfully donating.
Yep.
You don't have somebody say, "Oh, my money wasn't supposed to go."
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
to do taxpayer stuff.
Yeah. So that's our only stipulation, and
Sure.
because there's a lot of taxpayer-based ones, but also competition's fierce for those too.
And they're a huge headache.
Yeah,
It's
they
not
are.
worth it for what we're gonna.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Feel free.
Yeah, just let me know the direction you want me to take, and
Okay.
I'll take a look at some stuff.
All right.
And John, I know you were interested in the stuff that we're going to be like quizzing me on. If you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be there tomorrow as well, I'm going to be reading the CTRS, Certified Therapeutic Recreation Specialist test questions. You've already got a lot on your plate, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
just
was
letting you
just
know
wondering
you're
if you
welcome
had
if you
time.
wanted. He's swamped as well. He's so. I just let you know it's there if you want to.
I think I have to do one
One
because I
more.
still have to work
1 o'clock
tomorrow
All right, that's fine. That works.
to make sure I can be.
Okay. All right, we're way over on our admin time. We need to get going on the applied gaming. So unless there's anything urgent, otherwise we can wait till next week. All right, so we're gonna end our
He doesn't
stop.
have a computer.
We're working on it. We're working on it. I've got computers.
Oh, you've got two over there.
Well, yeah, but it's not. So Diamond Edition is no longer available through GOG because they went to the enhanced version, which is the enhanced graph. So Never Nights is a current, still new game in that they took the old game and enhanced the graphics with the enhanced edition, and it's still the same game. This is recent. Right? This happened just this past year. That's how this is a game that has unbelievable legs compared to other games. Right? A 17-year-old game, they went ahead and re-upped the same game. Now, it's also sad because they don't have any better ideas, apparently. But, you know.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
make it prettier.
Well, but, yeah.
A little spit and polish, and
and a couple of things.
little chrome, a little gilding around the edges.
Yeah. So it looks like, I don't know why it's not installed on here. I don't show it in my...
That's because you were on the other laptop.
So,
Yeah. Well,
are we
no, it
calling
doesn't even
into
show
the
it in the
administrating meeting
account.
here?
We are calling it into the administrative meeting now. So, end of the administrative meeting.
Start.
So I'm stopping the recording, and then we'll be right back.